Intelligent Talk, 1170 KCBQ, San Diego.
Wait till you see what they did to my car.
175, 200,000 on the LS6, 200,000.
Pull out the 8-track and turn up the AM. It's time for It's All About the Car with me, Dan the Carman Jones, and the godfather of all things automotive, Dave Stahl.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome. It's all about the car. This is the Love Network, and it's brought to you by San Diego Gear and Axle. Give them a call, 619-447-1588, or go to sdgearaxle.com if you want your undercarriage happy. How you doing, Mr. J?
I am doing great. I would have been doing a whole lot better if I'd gotten to go to all those auto shows that you got to go to this weekend. Was it great?
I don't want to hear your crybaby story. There was no reason you couldn't go. Don't give me this. Oh, I was so busy.
I had lots of excuses, but gosh.
You were doing good till you said the N-word.
The N-word? Which one was that?
How many here heard him say the N-word? Raise your hands. There's 7 of us.
The M-word?
N,
okay.
Naps.
Naps. Oh, yeah, I did have to take a nap.
Hello.
Okay, hey.
What a car guy. Can you believe it?
Hey, I was working really hard on this Open for the Riviera. I think it's probably one of the best I've ever done. And the Riviera is an incredible car to research. My gosh, that was sure a slap back in the face to Ford.
Well, I'll tell you what. I just had somebody send me an email, and he says, you remember the slogan, wouldn't you really rather have a Buick?
That's true. And after this, you'll hear it.
All right, let's go.
It is commonly acknowledged that the creation of the personal luxury car segment of the automotive marketplace was created by Ford with the transformation of the Ford Thunderbird.
1958, Thunderbird introduces the first 4-passenger luxury car and popularizes bucket seats. Every year adds new luster to Thunderbird's reputation.
Basically, Ford took the T-Bird out of the 2-seater war it was losing with the Corvette, added 2 more seats, piled on the luxury, and kept the wheelbase within a personal parameter, at least for the time. Known today as the Square Bird, 1958 sales doubled over the previous year's 2-seat model. There was a new chief stylist at GM, a Mr. William L. Mitchell. A student of Harley Earl, Bill Mitchell liked to boast that he had gasoline in his blood, and he took the Thunderbird's class-defining transformation as a personal challenge. With the Thunderbird problem very much in mind, Mitchell headed off to the annual London Motor Show of 1959. One evening, draped in the wisps of the famous London fog, Bill spied a custom Rolls-Royce. He stopped, he stared, and he was inspired. Immediately upon his return to the United States, Mitchell sprung into action. Mitchell was thinking that the new car would likely be a Cadillac. He had a personal preference for that brand, although it was a bit early in the car's gestation for that decision to be anywhere close to final. Mitchell, rather prophetically, enlisted the aid of Ned Nicholas for an initial design. Nicholas was a very accomplished GM designer, famous for his work on the iconic 1949 Buick Roadmaster. Nicholas was also credited with the famous Buick portholes, but that is another story. In initial conversations with Nicholas, Mitchell was pretty clear in his design direction, or as clear as could be with instructions like, I want a razor-edged roof, deck, and sides, and a front that looks like a Ferrari. As was GM SOP for new car engineering, the car was assigned an experimental project number, XP-715. As work progressed, it soon became apparent that Cadillac really had no interest in the new car. Cadillac was selling all the cars it could make. Chevrolet was in the same boat as Cadillac, and they saw no sense in rocking it. GM siblings, on the other hand, Oldsmobile, Pontiac, and Buick, were not riding quite as high. All three wanted, and indeed needed, a new, innovative product to boost lagging sales. Buick especially needed some fresh blood in their lineup. Current sales were down to almost half of what they were in the middle 50s, when Buicks truly were the road masters. So to prepare for their corporate competition for the new XP 715, Buick went all out and actually enlisted the aid of their ad agency, McCann Erickson, to put the final polish on their presentation. In the end, it was no contest. Buick won the XP-715. Now they only had to refine, design, engineer, make, market, and sell it. Oh, and they had to give it a name. After much discussion, the names Drake and Centurion were briefly considered. They settled on a revival of an old Buick name, the Riviera. Marketing plans began immediately. Roland Withers was Buick's head of marketing, and he had a reputation for grandiose plans.
What does it take to be a Buick? It takes a car that makes every mile an adventure. Like the new 1964 Riviera by Buick. Adventure begins here and never ends.
Withers saw the Riviera as an exclusive automobile, available to only the most discerning of customers. And to make that vision a stone-cold reality, his first step was to limit production to 40,000 cars a year, and to highly publicize that decision.
Riviera by Buick. A great and rare machine that a woman can admire and enjoy to the fullest, but only a man can really understand.
He gambled that exclusivity would bring buyers into the showrooms just to see the new car, and then remain to purchase other, more attainable models, perhaps more suitable to their particular needs. History would prove him right, as the Riviera's introduction was accompanied by a much-needed substantial increase in Buick's overall sales. When Motor Trend tested the new 1963 Riviera, powered by a single-carb 401 Wildcat V8, they reported a 0 to 60 time of 8 seconds, with a standing quarter mile in about 16. Motor Trend also discovered that the 140 mile/hour speedometer wasn't too far off the top-end capability, as they estimated the top speed at 125. They explained the inclusion of an estimate rather than a definitive number was due to simply having run out of room. Not content with even this extraordinary performance, impressive even by today's standards, a decision was then made to create today's most sought-after Riviera, the Grand Sport. With dual 4-barrel carbs feeding a 425 cubic inch nailhead Super Wildcat V8, the Grand Sport made an immediate impression on the buying public, and continues to do so to this day. In an English motor test, the brand new 1965 Riviera, presumably a Grand Sport, was reported as running a 0 to 60 time of 6 seconds, with a 15.4 second standing quarter mile. That made the Buick Riviera faster than the Jensen FF, the Aston Martin DB4, and a Ferrari 250 GT 2+2. Truly world-class performance from a world-class car, a Buick. The first-generation Buick Rivieras from 1963 to 1965 were elegant, exclusive, and exciting in the early 60s and to this day. The Ford Thunderbird may well have created the personal luxury car category, but for thousands of automotive enthusiasts, the Buick Riviera was and is the defining example of the genre. Tonight's guest purchased his first Riviera when it was brand new in 1965 on a San Diego policeman's salary, and yes, it was a stretch. There haven't been too many years since then that Dick Sweeney hasn't owned a first-generation Riviera. Dick is a charter member of the Riviera Owners Association, a previous national board member of the Buick Club of America, and a certified first-generation Riviera technical advisor. With guests like Dick, it's no wonder we call this show It's All About the Car.
Find a road yourself and discover adventure is a car called Riviera.
Well, Dave, what'd you think? Is that a historical car or what?
Well, I love Buick Rivieras. In fact, I own an 83 Buick Electra Estate Wagon as myself, and I just love the car. Buick was just always a notch above Chevrolet. Chevrolet was a workman's car. Buick was more of, hey, I'm doing better. And Cadillac was, I made it.
That's right. Buick was the banker on the way up, and Cadillac was the head of the bank.
Correct. But there was nothing slouchy about a Buick. That GS, and in fact, if you have an opportunity to drive the new 2012 GS with the 6-speed manual.
Ooh.
Oh.
Well, if you want to look at a 65 Riviera Grand Sport, you can go to the website at www.it'sallaboutthecar.com. Go to the photo portfolio, and there are a bunch of pictures of one of Dick's past cars. When we get back, we're going to get to talk with Dick, and you would not believe how many Rivieras he has owned in addition to being just a Riviera junkie.
Hey, once a fanatic, always a fanatic.
There you go. I've got a question for you before we go to the break, Dave.
What's that?
Okay. One particular feature was always planned for the Riviera, but it never made it into the car until the 1965, the last year of that first generation series. And as an extra clue, this particular option does have a Hollywood connection. Was it the optional close ratio Muncie 4-speed with positive traction? Was it hidden headlights? Or was it a tilting and telescoping steering wheel?
Which all three were on that car at
no.
one time or another.
Oh, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Dick will tell you.
All
Dick
right, we'll
knows
find
everything
out.
about it
Let's
right after
find
the
out.
break.
Listeners are discovering a way to earn money. We're talking quit your nowhere job and work from home type of money.
Intelligent Talk, 1170 KCBQ.
Well, I was rolling down the road in some cold blue steel. I had a blues man on the back and a beautician out the wheel.
All right, folks. Hey, this is It's All About the Car, and this segment's brought to you by West Escondido Auto and Trans, 760-741-0071, or go to westescondidoauto.com if you're looking for a really good, honest, upfront shop, right here in Escondido. So check them out. All right, hey, let's get back to our guest.
All right, Dave's fancy cell phone is blasting.
That's because we got Cody downstairs, and he needs to be picked up.
Okay, well, bring Cody up because what are you going to talk about?
I know. Oh, I have no idea.
Anyway, let's answer our question so we can move on and talk with Dick. Okay, right before the break, I said what option was planned for the very first generation Riviera, the 1963, and never made it in until 65 and was a pretty famous option. I gave you the options: an optional Muncie 4-speed with positive traction, hidden headlights, or a tilting and telescoping steering wheel. In the film Roadhouse, Patrick Swayze plays Dalton, a professional bar bouncer. He stashes his Mercedes in a barn and buys a 65 Riviera to be his work car. And he fills the trunk with 4 tires, and you're going like, why is he doing this? And his main question to the used car dealer was, do the headlights work? And that's right, 65 was the year it had hidden headlights, and those are cool. That really makes the front of that Riviera look mean. And if you go to www.it'sallaboutthecar.com, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's beautiful.
So what did he put 4 tires in the trunk for?
Well, he comes out of the bar after the first night when he's kicking
Inebriated.
butt and taking names, and people are all mad at him. He goes out. His car's sitting on 4 slash tires. He opens up the trunk, takes out the 4 tires, plops them on, and drives off.
Bingo. Okay,
Dick said that we have it wrong. Dick said that whole thing about the Cadillac being the president of the
and he was right. He's right.
He
Go
is
ahead,
right.
Dick.
Dick, tell us what it really
And
is.
welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
So, it's not the people that had all the money that had the Cadillacs. What was that?
The average guy had the Chevrolet. The people who wanted others to think they had money had the Cadillac, and the people that actually had the money drove the Buicks.
Right.
Okay. Now, you have been a Buick fan forever.
Why?
You bought a Buick Riviera
when
you were on a policeman's salary, and that was a stretch. And I heard you got a lot of ribbing from your fellow policemen for pulling up in that fine automobile.
And why a Buick? Why did you choose Buick over everything else?
In 65, I saw that car, the Riviera, parked somewhere in San Diego, and I was just blown away with the styling, and I knew I had to have that car.
Oh, yeah.
The front, as you mentioned, Dan, is just...
It's gorgeous. Gorgeous.
It really is.
So you probably, gave a ticket to everyone you've seen just so you could stop it and take a good look at it, right?
I won't say nothing.
Yeah.
I bet a lot of people got out of tickets because they were driving one of those.
I had to have that car, one of those cars. So I went to every Buick dealer in San Diego County to find the cheapest one I could find. and I found the one that I bought at Ballantine Buick, who used to be in El Cajon.
And there is a picture of that in the photo gallery at www.itsallaboutthecar.com. You like how I keep pushing that, Dave?
Yeah, and the price was
It was around $4,600, I believe.
that's a lot of money. That's
Yeah,
a lot. That's especially on a
65.
police
That was a
officer's
car, yeah.
wages.
$800 a month.
Good. And what were your payments? $800 a month.
You have been a Riviera fan ever since. How many Rivieras have you owned?
My wife is listening. She doesn't know that.
2.
About all of them. 22 is the magic number.
Wow. And have they all been Grand Sports,
No,
except for the first one?
no. Many of them were the standard Riviera. I sold most of them. Some of them I parted out and so forth. And
And we should mention that beautiful green car that I have the photographs of, you no longer have that car. You sold it to your relative or something?
sold that to a relative in Connecticut. And the only reason why I sold it is because I have another one that's just a little bit better, more options, and it was an early production Grand Sport. There was an early and a late production. I want to mention one thing, that the Grand Sport was not a model. It was an option. It was no different than an AM/FM radio.
Oh, I see.
So it's like a performance option.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Now, have you ever had a bad Buick? Well, because we always talk about enthusiasts, and they all grovel all over their cars. But have you ever had a bad one?
The only bad ones that I've owned are the ones that I parted out.
Yeah, and you got rid of them.
Got rid of them.
But I mean, as a general rule, that was a pretty reliable car.
Very reliable. The first one that I had, I drove to, took the family to Connecticut in the car. Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
That's why I like that car. It's a very enjoyable car to drive. Sit back in comfort.
What does a 425 cubic inch Super Wildcat V8 with dual 4-barrel carburetors get as far as gas mileage?
Who cares?
No, I'm interested.
Whoever looked. I bet you could get in the, high teens?
Oh, no.
You're lucky to get 10.
Yeah.
On the highway cruising.
But when you only drive a car 300 miles a year, what difference
Yeah,
does it make?
exactly.
And it could be your right foot might have something to do with it.
Well, yeah.
Well, I have a 64 Cutlass. It gets 9 miles per gallon, but I enjoy driving it. I spend the money. So I'm sure that's what you do. Now, the car you have now, you're in the middle of a concours level restoration, and you're going to attend the where?
The Riviera Club is having a national meet in Monterey in June, and I want to drive the car up there. My car is not concours. I've built concours cars before. This one is going to be, everything is 65 Buick Riviera, but it's a little different. And I'm making this car the way I want the car.
Oh, you're not
and it's a
staying
driver.
original.
And it's a driver.
Well, it's a little better than the driver.
You got to tow it?
It's a nice car.
Yeah.
No, I don't tow the car.
And it's a driver.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, judges, this one's a judge. This one over here, she'll be ragging on you if you drive it. But
I am considered, I belong to the Buick Club of America.
Yes, you do.
And the Riviera Owners Association.
A past national board member.
8 years.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I'll be voted in again this year.
Good.
The Riviera Club at their national meets have judging, but it's people's choice.
Mm-hmm.
The Buick Club is more technical, more advanced. It's for the professional people who want to restore their cars to concours.
Now, if people are interested in learning more about the Buick Club and the Riviera Club, you have some URLs, some website addresses to give us?
Well, the Riviera Club, if you go to rivieraowners.org, one word, rivieraowners.org, and the Buick Club of America is the buickclub.org. Both clubs would offer a lot of advantages to people who own the Rivieras and all Buicks.
Is there a big Buick presence in San Diego? I know there's not a lot of Oldsmobile Cutlass clubs out there, though.
Nothing like Chevy and Ford.
Yeah, I know, exactly. They're the underappreciated GM siblings.
Everyone seems to want the cars that they had in high school, and people didn't have Buicks in high school. So
couldn't afford them.
No.
You couldn't afford it.
Exactly. That Riviera was too slick.
And let's face it, Chevys and Fords, back in those days, I don't know if it had as much to do with the price as it had to do with that's what everybody drove.
Mm-hmm.
I know, in 1965, I drove an Austin Healey Bug-Eyed Sprite. You want to talk about a pimple on a rock. Like, what the hell is that guy doing driving that little thing?
No wonder there's all those dents in your forehead.
I just love little. I've always been I was just a sports car guy. Mm-hmm. And you guys all had them when you were in high school. You had the big muscle car guys. And then, of course, nowadays, now it's really, you got rat rods. And you got people doing some pretty wild things to these Buicks, the older Buicks.
The Buick engines are famous for durability.
Oh my gosh. And the style, like a 53 Buick, special with that front grille that probably weighs as much as a Yugo.
Mm-hmm.
There's some, I'm reminiscing back to Good Guys, which was Saturday. And
rub it in.
There were a bucket load of Buick. And there was, in fact, and then today was La Jolla Concours d'Elegance. And we highlighted a 56 or 57 Caballero Buick station wagon.
Very rare car.
Took this guy 3 years just to find the interior, the suitcases. He had everything. He had suitcases, picnic baskets, and it was that cream and kind of you know which one I'm talking about.
Yes.
You probably even know the owner.
I do.
What a fabulous car. What a Yeah, we did a great
Hey, let's
segment.
get back to Riviera. So tell me a little bit about what it's like to drive your car. To drive a Grand Sport with that much power, that big a car. It was supposedly had a combination of like softer springs, but better anti-roll bars or something. It had a unique ride.
The Grand Sport option included the dual 4 barrels, aluminum valve covers, positive traction rear axle, different transmission. It's a very powerful car, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But today, when we drive them with very tenderly, because if you have a problem, you got a problem.
Oh, please. If somebody comes up against you, Nate Stiggett, come on, tell that truth. It's a Riviera.
That motor, the torque is fantastic.
Yeah, I know.
On that
It's
thing.
amazing.
Once you get that thing moving.
Well, Dick, I could talk to you about your car all day
Forever.
long, forever. I love that car. I loved it the first time I saw it. I can't wait to see your new one. I do want to say that next week we're going to have my monthly what to do with your cars. We're going to talk about Vera Racing.
Oh, Vara.
VARA,
Yeah.
Vintage Auto Racing Association.
Yeah.
Got a guy that drives a 1964 MGB in competition, and it's like one of the first 300 MGBs made, but he turned it into a race car.
Yeah, it's man after my own heart.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And please visit us at itsallaboutthecar.com. Friend me on Facebook. Follow me as a tweeter. I don't know how you exactly
I
do
don't
that,
know
but
what
I know how
you're
to.
talking about.
I know how to make tweets. I don't know how to
That's
follow
right. I don't
what
even
you do
know.
with it. But,
I can tweet, I can twat, I can do all that stuff. I don't know what it means. Hey, stay tuned. You folks are listening to It's All About the Car, but guess what's coming up next? You ought to know. That's right. With Cody and Dave right here on KCBQ AM 1170 Intelligent Talk Radio.